Hello, and welcome to My Left Ear. I'm Carrie Freeman. This is a liberal channel, please know that. And My Left Ear is about messages, images, predictions that come through my left ear. Now this is Petey Freeman, and I put him on the desk, and he likes it up here. He likes to hear me talk, and the viewers really like seeing Petey, so he's doing great. He had a little depression when the heat was on, but he's good now. It is Saturday, July 13th, and this is video 205. I'm just going to get started. What I do is I take the news, I disseminate it in a way that it feels important or it's very entertaining, and I make comments. I'm getting more and more opinionated lately. Okay. I don't know why I want to tell you this, but I went to Ralph's Market this morning, and I was looking, my arm is still injured and I can't reach and stuff. So I was looking, and the guy working at Ralph's, who sees me there, said, "What are you looking for, darling? What do you need?" And I said, "Oh, there it is." And it was V8 juice, but it was on a really high shelf. So he got it for me, and he said, "You see, the Lord is with you. Praise the Lord." And I thought, oh, this is just so much fun, because I know he's a really nice guy. I've been going to the store, but I didn't know about this side of him. So he said, "I'm telling you," I said, "I know, I feel these moments." Now to me, a moment like that, where someone is just right there, what do you need, reaches for it, that's like a good evidence moment. That's how I, Carrie, refer to it. As you know, I've got a book called What is Good Evidence? So that's a moment of good evidence, because it's really substantial. It made me feel good. It was great. But then he went on and on. So he wanted to unload on me, and he knows nothing about me, that he's just sick of pretend Christians and phony Christians and the fundamentalists. And they're such phonies. He said, "I'd give me an atheist because they're more honest." And I thought, I don't know, maybe I just need to share this with, my audience. I told him, I said, "Steve, I don't practice a religion, but I practice kindness, and that's kind of really how I operate." I didn't go into my background or anything like that, and I'm not an atheist. I'm not even an agnostic, because I believe in this energy and destiny and stuff like that. Anyway, just a little humor right there. All right, so this morning I wake up like, I don't know, 5:30. I'm in Los Angeles. I turn on the TV, and it looks like, click on Mika and Joe Scarborough. And I think it's like maybe a highlights from the previous week, because also yesterday, maybe it was from Friday, highlights from Friday. And I had pulled back from watching a lot of stuff, because it's a nightmare. The media is a nightmare right now. Just enough so I know what's going on. So anyway, I turn it on, I'm lying in bed, and it is Joe Scarborough got his like face into the camera, he's so emphatic, and it's so threatening, and it's about, kind of like, don't you get it? We've got a problem with Joe Biden. I don't say that he said that, but that was the inference, and it was so dark and threatening and kind of really opposite. And so I got up, I turned it off, and I went, whoa. I literally felt, and I wrote this in my notes, that I had a plummet of all my dopamine, because I had a really good night's sleep, and I had walked a lot yesterday. And then, I don't know, I made my coffee, and I realized that waking up with that, what's the word? Negative dialogue, prediction in my face was very much like hypnosis. And we are in a hypnotic state when we wake up in the morning, meaning we're very suggestible, receiving good or bad news. And they always say, if you have bad news to deliver, let someone wake up first. Don't, if you can. So then I was like, okay, let's shake it off, like Taylor Swift, shake it off. And and so I went forward because it was like bad news. But now I'm going to move on to something else, because I do have some runes to share with you that I think are very, very important. So hang in there, and I'm sharing them soon. I had an epiphany last week, because I'm going to be really honest with you. I got 16,000 views on my website, YouTube channel, and I'd never had that happen before. It was, my God, it was an explosion. And I got probably over 1,000 additional subscribers. Thank you. And almost 200 letters. I haven't looked today. There might be 200. It was like 196 the other day. And I've read all of them and answered all of them, except one. The epiphany is, it's so simple, but it really hit me like kind of like a mud pie. People need hope. It just sounds so simple, but people need hope and some light, because the media has taken on some kind of mantle that's not okay. And they're gonna find their way back. So that's part of my rune reading. But right now it's been very dark and draconian. And so that was very informative to me, to have such a spike, such a response. Very exciting. So I want to say thank you. To me, that's good evidence, because my God, my dopamine went up and it lifted my spirits, and it made me wanted to share more. And it's led me to something, even though this is called my left ear, and even though I believe in liberal politics, I really want to devote this summer to getting Joe Biden reelected. There were years in my early life where I did not vote, and I want to go into details of it, but my upbringing, even though I was really well cared for, they did not focus on teaching my brother or I about the importance of voting, and I just felt I wasn't important enough. I know, I'm kind of ashamed of it, but then I got interested, and then I started volunteering for pro-choice events and all kinds of democratic events. I was out at Barbra Streisand's ranch when she owned it and had 3 houses on it. She did a concert. I was really privileged to do some of these. So this is my intention for the summer. I hope all of you will join me. And this is one thing I want to do. Your eyes can be open. I do hypnosis. I've been doing it for 20 years. But here's something that I think will help launch us. Those who want to join me, and I am going to make more videos, I decided, because it's crucial. And I want to be a part of this. I want to know that I did everything I could in my own small way. But I'm getting close to 7,000 followers, so who knows? But this is what I'm taking on. All right. So now with your eyes closed, this is all I'm going to say. I want you to visualize and imagine something like you were a child, like really be open to it. Here's the question that you're going to imagine on. How will you actually feel when Joe Biden is reelected? Go. Now just let yourself be flooded with chemicals, be excited, be in the room with your partner, your best friend, your children, jump up and have fun with it. And now I've planted it. That's it. That's all we're going to do. I've planted it. And you can do that in the car. You can do it when you're waking up. You can just go right to that association I just made for you. And I'm going to bring it up every time I do a video really quick like this. So we're moving on now. Now, right before I do the runes, I want to read to you something I wrote on Twitter. And I realized it's really an opinion piece. And I don't know if I told you, but I had a girlfriend, a best girlfriend from Chicago, who died of cancer. And we did a lot of writing together, funny writing. And it was before, I'm going to age myself, it was before the internet. And we were writing sitcoms. And we decided that we should have a table set up on a street corner and call it Opinions Unlimited. And we would just sit there and take $5 to give our opinions on things. Well, so we never did it, but this was our brainchild. So I'm saying hello to Karen right now. And this is Opinions Unlimited. So this is what I wrote. It's not long at all. It's about people who want Joe Biden to resign. That's what this is about. So on Twitter, changing course now would be an enormous mind fuck for Democrats and indies who are just making up their minds. And then I put early, by the way, and people are making up their my left ear feels it, early. The people who have made up their minds are just more quiet, okay? Democrats are more quiet. Indies are more quiet. So the people who are calling for the end of Joe's amazing, productive presidency, when he wins, all those jerks who are saying, resign, 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 I'm not going to go through a bunch of names, you know who they are, they're going to get a microphone in their face. And what do you have to say about this? This was a tsunami. This was a landslide. Joe is reelected. And they're all going to take a line from Susan Collins and say, I was just concerned. So I wrote to the geniuses, put that on your gravestones. You were just concerned. And you almost threw over the United States of America. Give that some thought. Now we're going to do the runes. So the runes have been very interesting when I frame it, the question the right way. This is what I learned. So this is what I did yesterday, and I think it's telling. And I'm glad I took a day to share it with you. Anyway, I asked, how's Joe Biden right now? What's going on with Joe Biden right now? So I got these 3 runes, and I'm going to share them with you because there's only 3. This is the only reading I'm doing on runes today. Is I got the rune of flow. All right, you see that, flow. And there is an opposite of flow, but we didn't get the opposite of flow. We got flow. Flow is always good. So let me just share a few things about it. Unseen powers are active here. Unseen powers are active here. Powers that nourish and shape and connect. There is a fluidity. Now, right now, this represents a cleansing, a reevaluating, and realigning is involved. It makes total sense to me. Let me keep going. It says, success now lies in contacting your intuitive wisdom. Well, I think that's what's happening right now with Joe Biden. He is really plugging into it. And further, flow is akin to, listen to this, you're going to really like this. Flow is akin to fairy tales, which at the end is when the hero and heroine live happily ever after. And I thought of Joe and Kamala Harris when I read that. All right, now we're going to move on. Now, don't be upset by this. I'm going to explain it. This is called disruption. So it doesn't have a reverse because it's always disruption, no matter how you turn it. And it can be, a volcano in your life, in one's life. One could lose a job, but not in this instance. And this is where PD is like so funny. What do you want? You want me to touch your belly? Okay, he likes me to touch his belly. So let me I extracted what I really wanted you to hear here about disruption because it's really good, because it symbolizes a flip, a change, okay? This isn't gonna go on forever. This pile on that's happening to Joe Biden by some, not all, thank God. The people who are doing it are in the minority, but they're loud. It's gonna die down. Let's keep going here. So, elemental power. Disruption has to do with elemental power. Change, freedom, invention, and liberation are all attributes. It's about a need within the psyche to break free from constricting identification. Oh my God, that feels so literal to me because it feels a little bit like something I came up with called hysterical ageism. And he wants to break free from that constricting identification because nobody knows more than he does. It can seem negative as it tends to operate in reverse. So what we've been seeing this week is the pile on, okay? On top of him. Undeserving. So we're seeing this thing in reverse, but I'm here to promise you, it's about an awakening. And the awakening is going to be within about a week to 10 days. Joe Biden is the one. Okay, we're going to see that. The will that Joe has funded, this is what it says because it's so Joe Biden. The will you, meaning Joe, have funded in your life up until now provides support and guidance at a time when you are being challenged. I'm being really nice. I want to say other things than challenged, but for now it's challenged, all right? It's challenged on steroids. Let me put it that way. So the last line here is, the onset of power may be such as to rip away the fabric of what you previously knew was your reality, your understanding of your life and your work, etc. And I took an inference from that. And the inference was big win, not just a win, a big win. All right, now we got one more, blank. Blank is blank on both sides. It's mysterious, but there's not a lot I have to share with blank. It just speaks for itself. It says blank is the end and blank is the beginning. It's kind of confusing, right? But it's really not at all. It's the end of Joe's strife with the Democrats and not being supported properly, and the beginning of being supported. Blank is the end, blank is the beginning. It does portend a death, but that is normally symbolic. Now, when I read that, I thought about Donald Trump, not Joe Biden. No, Donald Trump. But I do think it's the death of doubts that's coming. I could feel it when I watched some other programs this morning. I could feel it. And then lastly, he's reigniting his campaign with vigor. It's been remarkable. I mean, he's just knocked it out of the ballpark. And so the blank contacts him with his true destiny, which is to be this president of the United States and make sure we maintain our balance, our separation of powers, our freedoms and improvement. So this represents contact with his true destiny, which, now please listen, time and time again rises like the phoenix from the ashes of what we call fate. Doesn't that just remind you of Joe Biden's life? Time and time again, rises like the phoenix from the ashes of what we call fate. And I typed in, this is Joe Biden. So in that blankness of the unknowable is held tremendous potential. And part of this karma path is also for the great Kamala Harris. It's really something, this reading. We're not going to do any more. That's a mouthful. You might want to listen to it a couple of times. Now, the other thing I want to share with you has to do with my work as a hypnotherapist and my work with the subconscious mind. I had great training years ago. So here's this. It's really good to know. Not a lot of people know this. If they did, which they're not, get rid of Joe Biden and put, anybody in there, even Kamala Harris, nobody will adjust to it. I'm going to tell you why. Nobody will adjust to voting for a new Democratic candidate. It isn't realistic. Here's the reason. Our subconscious minds do not like change. Why do you think people come to me, right? Because I help change that. However, they want to avoid change because it's uncomfortable. So even if it was announced like the most fabulous guy, like Jamie Raskin, or just, I can't come up with it, but someone that generally seems just fabulous and brilliant, it's going to scramble everybody, and it's going to take them off what they've been thinking about, what they know, and they have to adjust, and they're going to be confused, and some of them could even stay home. That's how powerful this is. That's how difficult it is to change. So no, and nobody in Washington knows this concept, but I know this concept, and it will cause tremendous scramble in the subconscious minds of all Democrats and independents. So this is one of the reasons. It's a big deal. It's like, I worked with all kinds of drug addicts a long time ago. And I'd have a heroin addict detoxing in front of me in a room. And intellectually, conscious mind, that heroin addict, I got to get off this stuff. I got to get off this stuff. But the subconscious mind is feeling the beginning of withdrawals and is sending him a message. Where's the stuff we always get in the morning, dude? Where's the stuff? But the conscious mind knows. So that's a little bit of a sample. And, you know, the beginning of Donald Trump put many, many people, if not all, into a big state of post-traumatic stress disorder. And it kept us there. And it's still happening. One needs to be aware of it. So one can think really negative thoughts. One can be very reactive. One can be maybe more angry, more sensitive, more touchy. All of that under PTSD. But I'm going to tell you something interesting. The fight-flight response goes, all the way back to ancient time, and animals. And this is how a lot of animals stayed alive. A lion, let's say a lion was chasing a gazelle because that would be a good meal. The gazelle realizes and just falls flat on the ground like dead. And the lion comes over, and the lion doesn't want that gazelle because it wants a kill. And I apologize to the vegetarians out there, the vegans. But this is just science. This is just the truth. And when the lion goes away, because it's not what the lion wanted, the gazelle, well, that went well, gets up and just goes on its merry way. But here's the difference between a gazelle and you and I. The gazelle forgets what happened. A gazelle forgets that the lion almost ate it. It just gets on with it. We don't. So this is, so the next thing I'm going to share is I think this pile-on that has happened to Joe Biden, and it does have to do with the debate. The debate was really painful. No argument there for me. But boy, did this man bounce. Did this man bounce. It's part of the PTSD that is a continuation of what we've been enduring. Also, behind the scenes, there's ugly politics. So that's part of the pile-on. Ugly politics and PTSD, terror at losing, a lack of faith, a lack of vision, a lack of belief. Not me, them. And so once again, just to lighten it, I want to say, in an era of the magical Taylor Swift, I want to say, calm down. Okay. Joe hosted the most successful NATO meeting here at the White House 2 days ago. He was strong, he was presidential, he was articulate, and the president of Finland came out and made a statement that their communication was great and he saw nothing wrong with Joe Biden, okay? Then there was a press conference where they got to throw out all these questions about foreign affairs, and he stood up there with no notes because Joe Biden is brilliant on foreign affairs. He knows more than most everybody, 50 years. So he just, boom, 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 boom. He's wrapping it off. And, I was going, wow. And then I think it was yesterday, I did see a video that's like within the last 48 hours, where he was just talking to some people, almost like in a restaurant or something, with no notes, just a microphone. And he was fantastic. His humor was there. He saw some children. He noticed a kid and he went, "Hey, how you doing?" He was very off the cuff, very relaxed, very confident. The Joe Biden we love. And so once again, I'm going to just put this out there. Joe is doing what he's always done. President Biden is going to surprise like Seabiscuit. He's my human Seabiscuit, Joe Biden. So look, I'm not suggesting that it's going to be easy, and I'm not suggesting that all of a sudden, this fundamentalist side, this Project 25 side is just going to drift away. No, it's really going to be difficult, but this is an ultimate thing. I'm going underneath the trauma to bring you some information. All right. Now we're into the quotes, because my regular people know that I like to share quotes very quickly. I had a car for 7 days this week. It's fine. I got it fixed. It's fabulous now. But I didn't have a car, and I got invited to a fantastic lunch that I did not want to miss. So I took a taxi from Studio City over Laurel Canyon Boulevard to this fancy place in a high rise. So it took a while, and I called a taxi instead of an Uber or a Lyft. And this taxi driver came here, and his name was Tony, and he was Armenian. He had an accent. And Tony and I became fast friends. And it turned out he was a Democrat because he wanted to know about my website. What do you do? And, so I didn't mention it was a liberal website. I said, I don't talk about it too much, Tony, because, okay, I am a Democrat and I don't like to get into fights with people. He said, hey, I'm a Democrat. Great. So then we were off and running, started talking about things. He told me about his life. He came over as a kid and didn't speak English and had to learn English. They escaped Armenia, quite a story. He's been married for 29 years. He has a grown son, a grown daughter, and they're both in college and they're studying wonderful things. What a great man. And he took an interest in me. He goes, I want to get all my relatives to look at your website, your YouTube channel, give me a card. So he drops me off. But right before he drops me off, he says 4 words. He's just looking out, it's a beautiful day, and he goes, I love this country, with his Armenian accent. I said, Tony, can I quote you? It was just a beautiful moment. I think you can appreciate it. So this was a tweet that was put out by someone I don't know, but I thought it was very clever, very cute. Someone wrote, a male wrote, Biden's press conference today was very costly. He performed so well that I'm donating another $1,000 to his campaign. I thought that was really, really clever. Then one of my favorite writers, podcasters, is Joe from Chicago on Twitter. And I'm going to share what he wrote. Project 2025 and Trump go together like peanut butter and jelly. Project 2025, with all of its associated violence, will crush Trump. The polls are already turning against Trump. There's literally something horrible that's going on. So I really respect Tom Joseph. Now, good evidence for me this week, and for new people, good evidence is nothing you have to imagine or pretend, or it's just if anything happens to you during the course of your day, or you do anything productive that makes you feel good, like, you know, you write that letter, or you write that page in your book, or, you know, you go to the gym, you clean. It's good evidence, because when you do it, it makes you feel good. It's really that it. So anything that lights you up. Being invited to this restaurant called the Soho House in near Beverly Hills was unbelievably cool. A Twitter friend, Democrat, you know, invited me there, and she's a very generous woman. She's a very well-heeled woman. And she said, my treat, had a little glass of champagne, was surrounded by views of the city, and the interior of the restaurant was like you're in a garden when there were trees, but you weren't. You were inside with air conditioning. It was really cool. I had a Caesar salad with grilled chicken, if you're wondering. And then this morning, I'm just going to add this because I thought it was so cute about, you know, the message of kindness and teaching and all this stuff that I try to do, but I'm not a parent. I came out of Trader Joe's this morning and I had stuff in my cart that I was going to put in the trunk of my car. And this woman was struggling with her toddler, like not a baby, but a little girl, holding her and trying to get a cart out that was stuck. We've all been with a stuck cart. So she had her back to me and I said, would you like my cart? And she went, oh my God, that would be so great. So I just took my bags out and she took the cart and I went to put stuff in my trunk, which was very close by. And this is what I want you to share that I thought was the coolest thing. I hear her talking, but she's talking to her little girl and she's saying, well, you see, mommy couldn't get that cart out and was having trouble. And that lady came along and gave her the cart. And that's why we're able to go inside and shop, because that lady helped us. And I thought, how cool of that mother to teach that little girl about kindness. And once again, it's about how it can be sort of catching you know? And just wanted to share that with you. Out of all the letters that I got, almost 200, I got one that asked me to please stop touching my hair and put some things in all caps. Please, please, please. It's so distracting. And I was just like, and then she said, but other than that, it's an interesting site. So what I want to say about that is, yes, I think I probably do touch my hair when I'm doing this. But this is for everybody. Everybody, because you know I do therapy and coaching and stuff like that. If you have something to deliver to somebody that could be a little critical or, you know, a little unfriendly or something, deliver some good news first. So in this case, it could have been, God, I really found your site interesting. She could use the same word, although interesting is a little passive aggressive, but it's okay because it's not negative. Really found your site interesting, but you know, you touch your hair a lot and it really drove me nuts. I'm like, oh, well, now I'm going to be careful about it. And it's not the reason I'm wearing the hat today. My hair just didn't look good. So I'm just sharing that with you. So out of almost 200, I only got one letter that was sort of critical. And all I want to say is give a nice comment first before you criticize someone who basically does this for free and spends a lot of time and work. So do show appreciation, as many of my subscribers have already done. Love you, people. All right, I'm going to be doing more of these, so I hope you enjoyed it. Keep it coming. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Oh, and let's just, hey, Petey, you want to say anything? You want to say anything, boy? There's Pete. I'm sorry. I'm abusing you. This is his nap time, so that's it. Bye-bye.